The NBA Summer League continues to roll on, though it's getting closer to the end, but we love to overreact to everything, and why not overreact with Fran Fraschilla, former college coach and, of course, ESPN basketball analyst, who joins us right now via the telephone from Las Vegas. So, Fran, let's overreact to everything happening at Summer League. It's amazing how big it's grown, but it's also amazing that with its growth, that we take every game, every performance as if this is going to decide those players' careers.
Oh, yeah, no, there's no question about it. I mean, just a year ago at this time, we had Kevin Knox pegged as, an NBA All-Star as a rookie. And now you guys, Wally and John, know that I always compare Summer League to like the AA baseball All-Star game, It's fun to see prospects, but it's not a given that every one of these guys is going to have a great career in the league. And you can't overreact to early poor performances because in many cases these guys are, on teams that the Knicks are different because they have two starters playing in the Summer League, in Robinson and Knox. But it depends on who's on your team, who your point guard is, who's getting you the ball, who's not getting you the ball. So it's fun to watch these guys run up and down the court and imagine what they'll be like in 4 or 5 months. But again, you don't want to get too high or too low on performances out here.
All right, Fran, how you doing, my man? It's John. Good to
Always
talk to
a pleasure,
you.
Johnny.
Always, my brother.
Always a pleasure talking to you.
I was telling the guys here about some of the trips you were taking back in the day that you actually made me start feeling like a player because you were like the first major coach to start recruiting me. So appreciate that. But can you talk about some of those trips and meeting my mom? You actually caused the first argument between my mom and I because she actually wanted me to go to Providence, and as you know, I went to Syracuse, and we spoke about that. Can you speak on that, please?
Oh yeah, well, yeah. If people are listening, John and Wally now, John and I go way back, man. I started watching John as a high school sophomore. I think the first time I saw you, John, was at a tournament in Delaware with Mickey
Delaware
Walker.
Shootout. Yeah.
Yep. And, I was joking with you earlier. You couldn't make a left-handed layup, but there was something there that, we saw. And, listen, I didn't get you, but I got a lot of Marriott points. Okay? that Marriott right off the highway in Rochester on my way to Greece.
They finally renovated that.
Well, yeah, they had to. I spent so many nights there. I helped them renovate it. But no, and then you and I, of course, have stayed in close touch, and fun to watch your career. Now you're with the Knicks, and one of the things, Wally, you know this because you were somewhat under the radar as well. Mm-hmm. It's fun when guys like you and John. Now, John went to a big school. You went to a mid-major, but it's so much fun to watch the NBA every year and see a Dame Lillard come out of Weber State, or you came out of Miami of Ohio, or C.J. McCollum coming out of Lehigh. And that's the great thing about the league. It really doesn't matter where you went to school. It's a matter. It's just can you play? That's right. And so it's fun to see both of you guys have those kind of careers you did.
I appreciate that, Fran. I really do. Now, just getting back to the Knicks in the Summer League, I know you were a little leery of R.J. Barrett being the number 3 pick. He struggled a little bit his first couple games, kind of came around the last couple. What are your thoughts on seeing him and now in an NBA uniform?
Well, I got to tell you, he's doing exactly what I thought, and even the struggles early, because one of the things about R.J. that we've seen is, he's going to get shots up. He's a scorer, and so the big thing, and I've said this, I said this right before the draft. I said it after the draft. He's going to have a good rookie year. He's going to score points. The question is going to be, how efficient will he do it? And what we've seen in the Summer League is the competitiveness, the bull in the China shot mentality of getting to the basket, particularly to his left hand, the inconsistent jumper. All those things are things that I saw coming into the NBA draft. And I said this, and there's going to be nights this year, when he's playing real basketball where he gets 22, but he goes 8 for 24. And, the key is going to be for RJ, the improvement offensively, particularly with the jump shot, and also the decision-making, when to take it to the basket, when to drive it and kick it. I think that's just going to be a work in progress. But the one thing he has that I think you can't deny is he's got a Bulldog mentality. He wants to be really good, and it's going to be up to Coach Fizdale and his staff to, polish up the rough edges. But the competitiveness and the athleticism is there.
Fran, I think that's tremendous insight. I'm going to back up with one more question. Iggy Brazdeikis, how did 46 teams miss on him? He's looked like a bona fide NBA player out there. I mean, we watched him play in college. He was all freshman. He was freshman of the year in the Big Ten. This guy flat out looks like an NBA player right now with the way he's playing. What do you think about the way he's been rolling?
No, I love it. You know what? I saw this kid at the Nike Hoop Summit last April. That would have been, 15 months ago. And I predicted that he would have a great shot to be Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and that includes guys like Romeo Langford, who was coming in as a highly touted guy. What Iggy has, as you guys have already seen, he's Canadian, but he's also Lithuanian. His dad was a professional boxer, and at times an unprofessional boxer, if you know what I mean. Like, he's a rough, rugged guy, a bouncer in clubs, and Iggy's got that toughness. He's not a super athlete, but you know what? He makes up for it with great toughness. He's shooting it well. He's going to be fearless, I think, and I think he's going to find a place, obviously, on the next roster, and then hopefully in the rotation this year, because he brings that high energy, type of game. Now, again, Summer League, AA All-Star game. Is he going to hit 350 when he gets up to the major leagues? During the season, I'm not sure, but I love the start, and I think his toughness is a big reason why he's shown up to Summer League and played fearlessly.
Fran, you were talking about the mid-majors earlier. Who do you see as the next mid-majors breakout star for next year's draft?
Oh, man, you're putting me on a spot. That's a tough one.
John Morant?
I'd have to think about that. But I'll tell you, guy, hey, you're going to love this. John's going to love this. There's a kid at Vermont, Anthony Lamb.
Yes.
Who reminds me a little bit of George Niang, a little bit of Jared Dudley.
And he went to my high school.
Mm-hmm. That's right. He went to
Greece Athena. Yeah.
Right, Yep.
He's going to be really good this year. He's going to be really good.
You know what, John? I knew he was from Rochester, and I should have put that together because.
Well, if he's great from Rochester, he has come from my school, Fran. Come on, man.
I love it. What's your assessment of him?
He's like a poor man's Elton Brand right now, and he's got to work on his game, and he's going to dominate that conference. He's got to be able to play that well against bigger and more athletic guys, and I think that's where he's starting to have a little trouble when he went to the NBA pre-draft stuff. So now next year he's got to work on using his body, getting his shot off over more athletic, longer guys.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, you know what? That's why I compare him to George Niang. George has had to, out in Utah with the Jazz, had to carve his way into the league, and Anthony can, once he starts to consistently make the three ball, he kind of reminds me a little bit of like Grant Williams, who was the Tennessee kid in Boston, but he's a kid who's going to dominate mid-major basketball. And if he learns from what he learned in Chicago in the pre-draft workouts, I think he's going to have a chance.
Okay, appreciate it, Fran.
Fran, with your background with the Big East, with St. John's, with Providence, obviously the news of UConn moving back into the Big East, what does it mean to you?
I think it's phenomenal. I think it's phenomenal for everybody concerned. I think, first of all, it's great for UConn and their fans and their university, the incredible tradition, the four national championships here in the last 25 years. I think it's great for the Big East because it gives that league one more, quality team, and it's going to make that league stronger. It's going to help recruiting, not only for UConn, but even for the other schools, because all of us, Wally and John and you, Alan, we all know what UConn has meant to that league. Certainly John does. And then I think the last thing, it's going to be great for the Garden. UConn fans, going back to when I was a young coach at Ohio State and they won the NIT in 1988, they flocked down to the city. And now, instead of playing a non-conference game in December at the Garden, you're going to have meaningful games against St. John's during the regular season, back in the Big East tournament. So I think it's an absolute home run for everybody concerned, and it's great for college basketball.
That's great stuff. Hey, by the way, Fran, you recruited John, you recruited Wally. You didn't even send me a rejection letter.
Hey, Alan,
he no fool.
I checked the transcript. We couldn't get you into Manhattan College.
We're going to leave it right there. It's great to talk to you. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the Summer League. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, guys.
For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out right there. And Remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.